Hello guys, how are you? Everything okay? After this master class, I think that I cannot say anything else.
Come on.
Okay, my idea today is to explain a little bit what is Aframe, okay, which is a web VR framework, and also different ways how to interface with your electronics, and then have how to connect and how to have real-time data. Okay, this is my kit. Okay, and I'm gonna give you a global overview about how it works. Okay, I will put all these links, all this information in the documentation. It's not there right now, but I will do it this afternoon or this weekend probably. Okay, so then I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so any of you know what is A-frame? No?
I played with it the other day for fun to do AR on my website with AR.js.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, it's a framework based in 3JS. So it's JavaScript that you can execute in any browser from your mobile phone, your VR devices, your computer, whatever you want, and create virtual reality environments. So you can add your own designs. You can use the primitives that they are already in the library. You can, I don't know, create interaction with some events and different options, okay? Which is super important if you go to the aframe.io, because this framework is super well documented, also has a super big community. So any question you have, you will find there. Probably I can help you, we can help you, but probably you will find everything here in the website and also in the documentation website. Okay, so if you go there, you will find step-by-step tutorials, uh, reference about the documentation, about any component. I mean, it's super well documented with a lot of examples, and it's super nice. Okay. Also, one important reference is this one, I think. Give me a moment. I'm changing. That is the A-frame school. Okay, so this is like a tutorial step by step how to use it, in terms of what is this, how to use it, editors that you can use. You can edit in a txt editor file, but you can use your own code editor, or use Glitch, which is an online editor that I recommend you if you want to test something fast. This is nice, super cool. Okay, in this tutorial, you will find different examples that you can remix, you can recode, you can use everything. They explain step by step how it works, okay, which is a primitive. They give you the source code. They explain you what is our entities, components, and what is the systems. I mean, it's super well documented. Okay, you can, in A-frame, you can also create your own textures and add to your objects, and it is super nice. Also, with this some interaction, you can change this texture, you can give animation, you can interact. With A-frame also, you can connect some VR devices. So first, you can use your own mobile phone and put it in VR, and if you have a cardboard, then you can connect and see like this. Okay, but also you can use another devices, professional devices, which is even better if you have it, because then you can use the track system, so you can walk around the 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 world, the VR world. Okay, if you are using just your mobile phone, it's not possible to track your movements, just the position, but if you walk, they are not gonna follow. Okay, it's clear this. What else? I'm gonna explain you more. So if you have a step-by-step tutorial, this is the nice one. Okay. And what else? About the structure of a file in in A-frame. Sorry. So this is basically it's HTML with JavaScript. So always in JavaScript you should include the Aframe library, okay? And then the community has developed different components that you can also use. So if you find a component that is going to help you in your project, then try to include also in the website. For example, in that case is to create the environment that I'm going to show you later. Also to create some events. And also, and I discovered this today, that you can also use a particular system. So someone has developed a particular system in JavaScript in real time, which is super nice because give you a lot of possibilities. If you ask me, okay, it's difficult to learn A-frame, it's not. The only requirement maybe is to know a little bit about JavaScript and how it works and how the web page is structured. Just to move to the different components and then to connect with them. But if you know a little bit of JavaScript, then probably it's going to be super easy to use it. What else? What else? Okay, so then this is basically the structure. So you will have in a A-frame application, you will have this structure that you will have an ascent, okay, this component. The assets are the external components that you can add, okay, and then you have some primitives like box and sphere, a cylinder. What else? You have some components like the light, so you can control the ambient light of this. And it's like this, super easy. You embed the component, you write the component, you put the kind of component which is, and then some properties. In that case, for the light, the color of your light, okay? And with these components, with any of these properties, you can change it in real time with JavaScript. Okay? So you can interact with your physical devices and then say, okay, I want to change the color of this wall, then just change these properties, okay? What else? There's more components like the camera. You want to control the camera, your movements. Also, you can use like a cursor that is like a mouse. In that case, I want to show you now. What else? What else about this? This is basically this structure. If you copy and paste this structure in your web page, you will see your own virtual world, okay? For today, also I prepared, I'm going to show you two examples. One is using WebSockets, like Edu explained before. And one is connecting to a database that I think that Marco asked about this. And the difference between them is the speed, the connection with WebSockets. And I think that Guillem next week is gonna explain you better what it means. It's like, imagine that you have a server in that case, okay? In that case, I'm gonna use a Node.js server based on JavaScript that I have in my own computer, but you can put it in your P, you can put it in your laptop, or you can put it in another server, okay? What else? And then with WebSocket, what you do is you have a server and a client, and you connect directly. So you have bidirectional communication. So you can send from your client information, you can send data, and you can receive data from your server directly to you. So it's faster than the request that the get and post that Edu explained you before, okay? And so then you will have, in that case, my Wi-Fi. I will have my Node MCU that also is a client with WebSockets, and then I will have a web page where I put in the web server that communicates through sockets to my Node MCU. Okay, is it clear more or less? If you have questions,
Marco.
Oscar, Edu, you want to add something? Just tell me.
Yes. For example, in this case, the speed of communication is quite important. It's not the same as requesting humidity data from kit in
It's for real time. Yeah, of course.
It's for real time.
Different.
And actually, more or less, we consider that real time for feedback for humans is the difference of milliseconds between your movement time with your hand and your visual input. And like to get, let's say, real time, of course, is humans, we live like below the 0 point something millisecond. But for computers, etc., you always are facing for 20 milliseconds. That is really small. You can deal with 50 milliseconds without problem. But I don't know, for example, if you have a GoPro camera or digital camera, what you see on the screen usually is around like 80 milliseconds delay of the image processing. And sometimes you see that there is a little bit of delay, and actually you already feel that, and that make it feel not soft and doesn't have a good interface. For example, that's what happened a lot of with the VR, is the fresh rate and the milliseconds delay between reacting and the things happening. That now is more or less solved because of the processing time, computing time. So actually you are facing below 50 milliseconds to have a proper, let's say, real time experience. And that, as much as you can cut down on the connection times, is better.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to work with data in real time, because imagine that you have an art interaction, an art installation, and you are working with sensors, so then it's better if you have real time. If you just want to get this information, this data from the sensor and put it in a database, then you don't need real time. Okay.
Well, the plants don't move that fast, but yeah.
But yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, at the end is a thing about a user experience. So do you want real time in your user experience or not? Okay. So then this is more or less the system that I want to show you right now. Then what else? In terms of code in the Arduino, I'm going to show you this one. So basically you will use the Wi-Fi library that already Edu explained you, and also this WebSocket library. And this is just for to convert your MCU in a client. Okay. And then you define which is your web credentials and also which is the host of your server, because this is important in terms of how to connect with your server, how to create this socket. So in my case, this is the IP that I want to use to connect, and this is the port. So the port is like this window, this door that connects between you and your server. Okay, between your device and your server, where the communication is happening. Okay. Then I define, because I'm going to show you how to change how to activate LEDs through the virtual reality environment. Okay, and then I connect. When you have this, then I connect with the socket. And if we go to the socket, this is like a standard. So this function, what it does is just connect to the WebSocket server and say, hey, are you alive? Then yes. If it is yes, then establish the connection, and that's all. Clear? Yeah. So then in your Arduino electronic, you will have this code with the WebSocket, and then with the thing that you want to do. You can embed here also an Aframe application inside the MCU. Okay, so this is another option that you have. I'm not going to explain you this because Edu did it before, but I will put some examples in the repository just in case you want to do it. Okay. Then what else we need? We need the WebSocket server that in my case is in my laptop, in my server. I convert my laptop in a server. So the code of the server is super easy also. Well, I mean, super easy. It's like a standard, okay? So you create this, you establish the connection, and here, which is important, is every time that the socket server receives a message, it sends to the client. So receive and send the information, okay? This, in my case, I have it here. If you have already a web server or a P that is already implemented this, you don't need to implement this in that case, okay? So now I'm gonna connect, I'm gonna activate my server. So now I have it. Then I'm gonna execute I hope it's working. Okay. So this is now I'm moving this. Okay, so this is the A-frame application. In that case, I have an environment. This is a forest, but you can change it easily. I mean, there is a component. I'm gonna try to find this. Wait a moment. I have it. Okay.
I have one question.
Yeah, tell me.
With A-frame, can you have it so it's because mainly made to do web VR, but can it be used to make 2D graphics, a bit like processing or something, or
Yes,
is
you
it
can
just
have it 2D models, but okay, the power of the A-frame is to have 3D. Okay,
yeah,
because
yeah.
if I show you, then
For
you can
that,
move it from
for
here.
that, I will recommend to use 3GS libraries.
Yeah, yeah.
To use which one?
3GS. I will put the link in the chat.
Yeah, in fact,
Use
A-frame is
3ds
based
for
on this.
2D.
Yeah. So then I'm moving with my keyboard, but if you have your VR device, you can move it. You can track this information. Okay. In fact, what else? I have it there. The components. So this is a component for A-frame that you can change easily your environment, just changing the entity of the environment. So if I put, for example, imagine that you want to be in Egypt, okay, with the Tron that I like it. So you just go to the code and then go to the environment and say, okay, instead of forest, let's gonna put Egypt, for example. Yeah. Then I save it. And then I can connect again. And now we are in Egypt. Okay. You can create your own environment, but if not, you can find any component that someone has already done and then use it.
You can also enable your own three-dimensional workspaces and export them, for example, from any interface, Fusion, Rhino, etc. environments.
One cool thing that has A-frame is that you can have an inspector and then change your design in real time. So I can change the material of the color. So then imagine that you want to put it, then you can move it. And also you can save it locally. Okay. So this is cool because you can create you can code your environment more or less fast and then do these tricky things of, okay, I'm gonna change this and I'm gonna add some light, see in real time how it's working. So with the inspector of the A-frame, it works super nice.
And then does it export into HTML you can paste into the web page after?
Sorry, I can't hear you now.
With the inspect scene and you move the light and everything, and then
You can
does
save
it
Yeah,
creates like the HTML? Okay.
Yeah, you can save it directly to the server, but you need to have one component for Node.js installed in the server. You want to save it. Okay. What else about this? Okay, let's gonna come to the code. What else we can do? Particular system is also easy. I'm gonna change this. And then in that case, I'm gonna put rain. Save. Remember that if you add a new component from someone, components I like modules. Okay, you include, in that case, this one, you include in your web page, and then once you have it, in theory, it's gonna rain. Look, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah. And this is web. And if you go with your
It seems more like there is kind of star, so I think we don't see the movement of the rain, but we can see something.
Yeah, okay. So it's not moving because the delay, but at the end are particulars. I mean, you can change. You can put a snow. you can code your own particles, but if not, you can use a component from someone. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like before. Okay. So this is more or less what you can do with Aframe. Also, and a good software if you have Windows or Mac. I don't know if you know this. If I can. Okay, you know Magical Boxer? This is super nice software if you want to design low poly 3D models that are super useful for WebVR and for A-frame. Okay, I recommend you, and it's easy to design and to explore, and it's low poly. Okay, what else? What else? Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to do it in real time. No, let's first. What I code is, I don't know if you can see in my screen, I have my node MCU with 3 LEDs, okay? Yeah. And then what the idea is, if I, now it's not connected, yeah? The node MCU. The idea is if I point to the box in blue, then the LED blue is gonna be on. If it's the sphere in red, then the red, and if not, in yellow, okay? So then I connect, then you will see probably here, this is my server, okay? Now a new client is connected. It means that my MCU is connected right now. Also in the example, if you go to the serial monitor, you will see that it's already connected, okay? Just to double check that you have it. Now, perfect. And you see, now I'm moving. If you see that's my screen and my camera, you will see how I'm changing. And this is happening in real time because I have the connection. I'm sending the information from the web to the node MCU and from the node MCU to the web, okay? If you want, imagine that you have connected a sensor in your electronics, which I don't have now, but I put it in the code, something like random. Moment. Okay. This, imagine I put it here. Okay, I think I have problem in my computer. Okay. So if you read the data, you need to convert to a string because I'm not completely sure about this, Oscar, but I think that with WebSocket, you just can send a strings and arrays. It's like this?
I'm not sure. I don't.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure.
What I know is that you should send a string. So if you have an integer or a number, you should convert this to a string and then send it to the WebSocket client. Okay. And it's like this. It's super easy. So once you have the library, okay, I want to send data, and the value of the analog read is gonna send it to the server. Okay. And in that case, in my code, if you see the height of the cylinder is changing, and it represents the value of the sensor that I'm sending, that I have it in my electronics. Yeah. So in that case, it's real time sending data and receiving data from the server. Yeah. Is it more or less clear?
Yeah.
Do you have questions for it? No? Then it's perfect, no? I did it super well, no?
Good job.
Of course not. Whereas then I'm gonna show you another way to do it, the interface, the communication, and I'm gonna use it on a project that we did in the unit. This is a project that we did with kids, in fact, in Cosmocaixa, that is the science museum in Barcelona, where the kids first they should make their own. They convert in a robot, okay. And as you can see in the picture, you have here the cardboard where where the parents put the mobile phone there, and then they solder an LED and also a motor, okay. And I'm going to explain you why. The LED and the motor are connected to an MCU. So we have the mobile phone with the web application, and also an MCU that is connected both to a server. Okay, and
I have a question actually. Are you aware of any data visualization framework? I mean, if I can visualize a plot in a VR space, could be
probably
interesting.
this is a good question. Probably there is a component for Aframe for data visualization. If you
like,
want
working with a database and plotting three-dimensional shapes, clustering of data, for example.
But you mean from a database or in real time?
Yeah. No, real time. Well, not for my case, but yeah, of course, it'd be interesting.
Because in real time means that the answer, so you get the data in milliseconds. Okay. If you want to connect to a database, probably then this not in real time. Probably you will spend 1 or 2 seconds. Okay. In that case, in this project, we connect everything to a database that I want to show you here. Okay, so this is the database. Then I have listed all the robots. Okay, and then the MCU was connecting here, asking if the user has finished to make the box. Okay, this is clear because it was a game. In fact, I think you can go to the game. If you go to to here, if you go to, I will put it in the documentation. The kids should put their number because each kid has a number, and then play. And then once they are there, okay, they are the robots. And also they have music, so you can put music in the VR. Okay. Then the kid was playing like this. Imagine the kids with the box, with the LEDs and the motors, and each time
pretty cool.
They point to one of these, they are getting more points. Okay. And I'm sending, when I do this, I'm sending that the robot 12 to the database has killed one box. Okay. And once you have it everything, you have a binary code, and it comes from the database. Okay. And I'm gonna stop this because if not, we are gonna be crazy.
No.
So this is another example. Put audio in your virtual reality and connect it with an MCU through a database. Okay. Stop it here. Then what else? What else more? This is nice because then, in that case, it was an activity that we didn't facilitate, where the people from the Cosmocaixa that facilitate. But what I did is track which are the movement of each kid in terms of when they finish to make the box, okay, with the VR and the solder the electronics, when they start to play get the game, when they finish the game, if they finish, because each group at the end they have a letter, and I don't know if it is clear, okay, maybe it's too much, but each group should play, okay, each kid should play, okay, and then when they have finished, they have the binary code that represent a letter, okay? And then when they have it, they went to here, and then they should put which is the letter, in that case, the C, okay. And then the whole group has one letter, each group has one letter, and the whole participant should answer which is the code in order to have the prize, okay? And the prize was, I'm gonna put it, this is the, okay, once you have it, you have the prize. And the prize was the documentation about how to do this at your home, okay? So we document everything, we put all the codes inside, the step-by-step, the tutorial, how it's built it, the connection, the music was with Sonic P. So at the end everything was code. How's the architecture of this, how to connect everything, okay? And also the design of the files that we use it, the connections, I mean, everything. So this is the idea.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so then the idea is, okay, now you have a web page in VR, in a server with a database. Then you have the electronics that are connected to the box of the kids that power the LED and also the motors, and has these interactions. But this is not in real time. Okay, this is the difference. And the way, sorry, wait a moment. Because I have my kids doing the class now. This is the difference between database and sockets. So one is real time and the other not. Yeah. What else? Do you have any questions, or do you understand more or less how it works? And which is the difference? Do you have questions about Aframe? No?
I do have, but I need to experiment and crash it before I can express, oh, what is what I need. So this is why I'm not asking any particular question, because I think I need to process all of it.
Yeah, but more or less, do you understand which is the process, the things that you need to have? Okay. So one part is the code of the Aframe. One part is the electronics. Then decide if you want to connect in real time or not. Okay. And then whether if you have devices, I don't know if Roger has tried this, but maybe you can try. I can help you with Aframe and with one of your devices. Okay. Because I never try. I always use my mobile phone. Okay. And this could be cool. And then know a little bit about JavaScript. That's the key. If you know JavaScript, then it's gonna be super fast. Okay. One important thing is that the issues. If you go to the Aframe docs, there's one place, I don't remember where, that they give you which are the best browsers that you can use for your exactly here. So in that case, these are the devices. No, I'm not showing you. Sorry, I'm gonna share my screen again. Okay, no. So here you will find which are the headsets that you can use with Aframe, okay, and also which are the browsers that you can use. Okay, this is important because sometimes depends on the browser, the texture is not working, or maybe some interaction is not working, but in another browser is working. Now they have more or less a stable version, but
from my experience, Chrome works the best, and after Internet Explorer, Firefox doesn't have everything enabled, all the controls. Like
for once, Internet Explorer actually is compatible.
Sorry?
For once, Internet Explorer is
Exactly.
actually compatible.
No, actually, I found that because of the lack of security in a lot of things of Internet Explorer, with 3GS, complex libraries of 3GS also works well and loads really fast
Yeah, I agree.
compared to Chrome or Firefox.
Yeah.
Actually, for these kind of things, I think Firefox is the first thing I'm going to say. This is not the best option.
I gotta say though, for WebVR, Firefox works really well in my experience.
Firefox is never the best option.
But Aframe,
we're all
I want
using
to say
it.
something. Aframe comes from Mozilla Foundation. So then probably Firefox is going to work. Okay.
Say it again. What's happening with the Mozilla Foundation?
That Aframe comes from Mozilla. So then I'm completely sure that Firefox is going to work well with Aframe. Edu?
How did you?
Well, maybe it's also because I usually what I do with A-frame and 3GS is load super large three-dimensional files.
Yeah. So
maybe it's because of that.
One recommendation is use low poly designs. Okay. Low poly models. If someone is planning to do or to use in their assignment or in their project A-frame, tell me because I can help you. Okay, on it.
How did you build your backend? Or are you talking with the database, actually?
Sorry?
How did you build your backend? How are you?
For the game?
Yeah, with
basically,
the database and stuff.
Is my SQL database and PHP for the connection. Then, and that's all. Okay. And then doing with from the MCU, I was doing requests through a PHP that I have allocated in my web server. So just execute, and that's all.
And with a PHP framework or just PHP?
With PHP, sorry?
With a framework for PHP or just a single PHP?
PHP.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What else? More questions? Edu, Oscar, Josep, do you have questions? Is someone planning to use A-frame or not yet?
After this beautiful class, maybe.
Sorry? Benji?
After this good class, maybe. Good job. No, I wasn't planning, but I've been playing around with it, so I'll play around with it
at least
more.
try to do it. Try to do an exercise because it's super easy. Just copy paste and then start changing the things.
I'd love to, but I feel like it's quite a spin-off from my trajectory.
You can do Minecraft with your plants.
That'd be super cool. No, a gamified version of it would be interesting, but I mean.
Okay. Also, they have a super big community, and if you use Slack, that I know that not all of you use Slack, the community for A-frame in Slack is super nice. And if you have any problem, you can ask, and we will find.
I just saw that A-frame is based on the 3GS library.
Yeah.
Framework.
Yeah. It's like this. What else? Nothing else? No? So thank you so much then. And that's all. You have planned something else? Yeah?
A coffee break, maybe.
Maybe. Good. Nice.
How to make coffee.
Coffee.
Okay, let's have a coffee break and let's just do a debugging session of answers you might have from yesterday class and today class, and maybe how you can tell us how you will affront this assignment and what kind of things you will try to work with.
I had a question from the calendar. It said web application HTML. I wondered if that meant like PWA, like progressive web apps or something like this.
No, the web application, let me see the calendar, is the class from 1 to 2, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we changed the schedule. Actually, it's the first class we have today. It's the one I did.
Okay. So it's not PWA then?
No.
And there won't be.
Not for the moment.
Well, have a nice coffee then. See ya.
See ya.
See you in a few minutes.
Roger. Ei. Hem de provar-ho, tio, amb el teu dispositiu.
Segur, ara estava mirant i no veig que tingui controls específics pel Quest. Té controls pel Go i pel Touch, que són com els models antics.
Ah, ja.
Però suposo que encara no han tret el Quest.
No, van una mica... Sempre van un pas enrere de la versió que tinguin.
Bueno, és molt fàcil que els del Go siguin compatibles, perquè és molt semblant. Però... Està guai, eh? Volia preguntar, no té il·luminació i sombres i coses així per fer el món?
Sí. Hi ha components de fer ombres, de fer il·luminació, de canviar-ho. I segons la reacció pots canviar-ho en temps real, també.
Que guapo, tio.
No serà una aplicació de les teves, però...
No, home, clar, perquè no està compilant.
Sí, però dona el pego, eh?
És que m'he instal·lat el navegador aquest que tens al Brave, tio, no el coneixia, basat en Chromium.
Ah, Brave is super nice, eh? It's the faster browser ever. But with a lot of security. So then probably the half of the web page you cannot execute it.
Roger.
Hey.
Yeah, I just want to add like Unity projects that I can just use it to do this week assignment instead of building the new Unity project myself. I mean the sources, which guy is doing many Unity projects that I can look for.
You're asking if you can do this week's assignment with Unity?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, totally. I'll show it on Monday. We'll build an app with an interface for an Android device.
But I think I'm lazy. I just want to look for some existing Unity project and I just work on the sensors and everything to interface with it. Like I'm asking if you know any guy with many examples that I can use.
With sensors or in general?
I prefer to do something with sensors.
I don't know any website that does that specifically deals with Unity and sensors now. But you'll probably find stuff for sure. It's not that hard.
And maybe general, then I can look for stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the main Unity page has lots and lots of tutorials with example projects that you can look at.
Yeah.
In go to unity3d.com and learning. There's like plenty there.
¿Qué difícil que son lo de la librería? Hay la librería de Wi-Fi. ¿Dónde está la librería de Wi-Fi? Hay la librería de Wi-Fi.
David. David.
Hola,
Hola.
nene.
Hola David, ¿cómo
Hola.
estás?
Bien,
Ya.
¿has crecido?
Yo, ¿cómo estás?
Le saca una cabeza.
Le saco una cabeza ya. ¿Cómo lo llevas?
David, el micro, teleoperadora, te oye fatal.
Teleoperadora, de Moncla, dígame.
Ahora te oigo, ahora te oigo.
No, pues.
¿Cómo lo llevas?
Pues bien, en general, un poco, pues eso, ya se hace largo, ya acaba de salir, ahora que hace bueno y que tal, pero bueno. Pues...
¿Sigues aquí o te has vuelto a Madrid?
No, si yo el piso de Madrid yo lo dejé, yo estoy en Mataró, ahora la casa que es de mi madre, estoy aquí en Mataró, así que aquí estoy sito hasta que me vaya.
Pues mucho ánimo.
Igualmente, ¿tú qué tal?
Bien, todo lo bien que se puede llevar.
Haciendo teleworking.
Sí, sí, sí. Ya empecé a teletrabajar casi bastante antes que del estado de alarma. O sea, que yo llevo una semana más que el resto. Que no es fácil, pero bueno, poco a poco.
Poco a poco. Echando suertes a quien le toca bajar la basura. ¡Hey! ¡Le toca bajar la basura! ¡Yay! Exterior.
Pues más o menos, sí. Bueno, mucho más mínimo, voy a seguir.
Gracias por pasar a saludar.
Hello, hello, hello. You hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hala, I saw that you have some questions about Arduino IDE. Hala is not here.
Oh, no. I had one question about yesterday. I wanted to. I was looking if in the MIT app inventor you could have notifications, and it's not integrated, but you can add extensions, and I found a few extensions, but I wasn't sure if the app needs to always be running to be able to receive notifications. I don't know if you know anything about notifications in the app.
No, I haven't never tried actually notifications.
Because I found some push notifications by some company called Codular, I think.
Can you send it in the chat, please?
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. And yeah, and it seems so. It's kind of I think it's built by One Signal, which is a company that just does push notifications in general. And I found a few notifications extensions, and some of them were actually the app had to be running all the time. So if you quit it, which is a bit useless because you want to be able to receive notification whenever. But yeah, my main thing, and it doesn't have to be made in the MIT App Inventor, and that's why I was asking about PWA earlier. I just wanted to kind of make a website which could be used as an app on your phone, and then and I know with PWA you can do push notifications.
I actually never worked with notifications, but as far as I know, in the MIT App Inventor you have two ways of exit the app. One is exit, and one is close the app. So close will probably close all the secondary processes that might run in the back. Let's say because, for example, Instagram is always, even if you don't see when you close the app, it's still running in the background.
Yeah.
As like for low resources. So probably that will be the difference in the MIT. I don't know if they embedded just like that.
Yeah, because I know, like, I have an Android phone, and for example, you can just like swipe to the right and just do close all apps and stuff. And so I don't know if that kills the actual background processing, or if they still run. Yeah. Because I always kind of kill all my apps. So if it killed the app and then kind of disable the possibility of it giving you notification, then it would be a bit useless.
Background services. That's usually called background services or background running in the app. How to create a background running activity.
Yeah. And then there's another. So this one, the one I sent, is kind of like by One Signal, which I think kind of allows you to. It's like it's a service offered for many different devices and emails and stuff. And then there's another one which seems like a more simple stuff, which is done just for.
Let me try. I'm opening the App Inventor. I see a Stack Overflow chat just about it, and they say you need to add a task, so it runs in the background as a service, not just the app itself.
Yeah, I guess my main question was more than how to make it work, but more like does the MIT app run in the background if you do the close all apps? That was my main question, I guess.
Okay. Screen.
Actually, I could just play around with it and see if it does do it.
I think the beta version of the MIT App Inventor seems to have that feature enabled, but the standard one, no. Okay, here you can see. I just copied the chat link.
Yeah. And yeah, then another question. Well, it's not another question, but is I thought you were going to talk about progressive web apps this week because it seemed like it was quite in line with having an app that works on all devices is coded with HTML, so it would make sense to.
No, we have at least any of our team have worked with that kind of compiling apps until now, but I can take a look at it.
Well, it's not compiling; it's basically just a website.
Yes.
And then the website has a little manifest file which tells the phone this can be an app, and it basically downloads the website on your phone, and then the website is available offline as if it was an app.
Ah, okay,
And,
that's interesting.
And I'll send you a link on the.
Yeah, I'm in the website already.
Yeah, cool. But it's good because it has basically access to the sensors of the phone, mostly to the app, to the notifications. It acts more and more since the last year as an actual app, but you don't have to download it. So if you go on Google Maps, you can actually download a light version of Google Maps, which is just the website Google Maps, but download it, and then it appears on your phone with the icon, with everything. You can work offline.
Nice. I didn't know it. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, you see, like I mix both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And test my side. And who are these guys? This company, and they.
But I think Google kind of started playing around with it. It's not a company. It's just like the name you give to website that you can download as apps. And I think Google started playing with it a few years ago and have been pushing a lot to kind of like make it more and more look like a native app rather than a website. But it's not a company making it. It's just kind of like a way of doing it. If you go on Wikipedia, es un tipo de software de aplicación que se entrega a través de la web. Sí. So yeah, they don't have a boss or a company that looks after it, I guess. It's just, I think there's a few companies that have been created to kind of make it more and more. But Google seems to be behind it a lot, as always.
Interesting. And it seems that you just read the HTML and you enable the libraries, and that will make it work, no?
Yeah, it's literally just a website. I mean, you could have, and it could be our Fab Academy website that when you have it on your phone, it kind of displays a different way, and that's your app. So you could have just an app.html on your website, and that's everything you need.
So basically, like having the web page, but in a transparent way, looks like an app.
Yeah, you get rid of the status bar, you get rid of the stuff, and it's just, yeah, it works as an app. It's super nice.
Yeah, it is. Okay, that's quite interesting.
And it means you don't have to learn any programming languages or anything, or not new ones anyway. I think Uber uses it, and Starbucks, Pinterest, I can see, Spotify.
What are you talking about?
Progressive web apps. PWA.
Yeah. Okay, you want to build one?
Yeah, well, I just thought, I was surprised we're not talking about this week because it's kind of like making an app with just an HTML page, so you don't have to learn new languages and stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of like always been looking into them because I wanted to make apps in the past, but I didn't want to learn like Swift or Java or stuff like this.
Yeah, but then it's a lot of JavaScript.
Yeah, well, it kind of depends how complex is your thing, but at the moment, because we're talking about processing.js, we're talking p5.js, and we're talking about Aframe and everything, it kind of like, we're talking a lot about HTML, so you just need to kind of add a little file that says this is a PWA, and then you have your app.
If you want to build a desktop application, you can also use Electron, but it's very massive way of building apps because, in fact, you just build a Chrome browser and you build the app on top of it. Like the Aframe editor is built on Electron.
What should you use? Electrode?
Electron.js.
Electron.
.js, okay.
And then you can make an app with only HTML, CSS, and a bit of JavaScript. But it's very massive, and like a very simple app can wait for, I don't know, 200-300 megabytes.
Really?
So it's not efficient at all, but it works.
But the thing is that Electron, as you said, Antoine, it has so much overhead, but it's like it has so many node dependencies that it's crazy. And for example, Slack or these web apps like Riot or everything, they are based on Electron, and it's easy to program it, and you can put any type of backend embedded in the app. For example, you could make a Python backend embedded in it, and then talk with WebSockets through the Node.js frontend or whatever. But then it's like 500 megabytes for chatting app, for example.
Yeah, each app you build is a Chromium app.
I've just been downloading like websites and like with something, I think it's called Fluid. It's an app where you just put your URL of a website and then you can put an icon, and then you have just websites as apps on your computer. So I have like Messenger as an app by just kind of like using Messenger and stuff like this. It's not the best way, but it kind of works.
Interesting. Okay. More questions? Hala? What? Before we went on to Jala, onto Hala, I want to give you a tip. It's something that I know a lot of you will like, but I think it hides everything. It means it's too big of a black box. So it's Blink. I don't know if you hear about it. Share a screen. Screen share. So Blink is a company that offers services and actually connect IoT devices in an easy way. So it's more like an Scratch type of programming, but it's really easy to make really fancy and nice apps. Let's see the chat. Blink. I would say the biggest problem, it runs everything in the servers of a company.
And you also have to pay to add any kind of button, like
exactly.
You buy points or energy and basically enables features.
Exactly. So it's kind of freeware where you have a really basic tool set, and if you start nearly more complex programming or actions, yeah. But it's really fancy in another point. So Marco is showing the screen. It's super nice because it's really nice to make really simple, well, not simple, actually, really complex interface in a simple way. We didn't have a tutorial on it because actually the videos from the main page, they are already super good.
It's working very nicely, Marco.
Sorry.
Unlock your orientation.
Jesus. No, it's there's a button. Okay. I promise it works. I swear.
Works quite well out of the box.
The
Actually,
orientation. Well, yeah.
and has supports from iOS, Android, and supports like all the hardware that I know. And
You can also export to CPS.
And you have libraries from Arduino libraries that makes all the difficult work for you. Like actually how to make, like, for example, the request of the HTTP of 200, enables the 400 errors. And you have a code builder that is even better. Let's say it's your online Arduino programming tool, that where you choose your board, what kind of connection you want to enable, and what kind of... Huh? Sorry, David?
Oh, sorry.
And you enable the examples and they want to use, and makes everything for you. So basically, you just need to upload this basic code, download the app, and put your, I think it's your key, your Blink key, to access the service, and it will do everything for you. So let's, for example, making a kind of an interface just as the ones that we were doing, just to switch on an LED just with a button. It's even simpler because you don't need to code everything. You just take the examples and it works out of the box. And enable graphs, it does automatically. You don't need to worry about also like size of the graph because it's self-arranged, it's dynamic, and it works quite well. But as I say, and what I love especially about the interface is the kind of graphing for the sensoring is really well done, and it works out of the box completely, always. It's good, but as we state, it's freeware, so we didn't have to go too further onto that.
And it's also nice because you can actually use it as a platform to share the application itself. It's like we got a kit made basically of Raspberry and a few sensors, and these guys were also providing the app to Blink. And
yeah, because it's nice because
you share your own designs.
Exactly, you don't need to log as developer in Play Store or iOS Store. So actually, you can use the self page, the servers of the company, to deploy your app. And also, I see that I have seen that who has put it? Bertrand, remote XY. I know this. Let me see if the same for onboard console support. I know the library of remote XY of Arduino. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but looks like. Let me see. No, it's not the same, or at least doesn't look the same. Yes, it's the same actually. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it was actually a project with code blocks. I always use this library to have like a two-dimensional interface for phones in web deployment. Actually, I use this library to control like a small robots through the ESP, and use these libraries to deploy some like bidimensional sliders for 2 fingers, so it supports multi-touch on HTML, so you can control like 4 different outputs. Interesting. Didn't know actually the project page. Why is in Russian now? Start now. Free. That's curious. Funny. Indication decoration. I have used the core, but not this interface. Get source code. Module interface. Thanks. Hardware serial. This is the source code of the editor view. Okay, and how do you export in here? Here, save project as. Of course, you need to log in as always. Okay, interesting. More questions or something you want to talk about?
Well, I think it might be simpler than what you guys are doing, but for first, I'm going to try to make the dinosaur game of the Chrome mirror.
Yes.
So if anyone wants it, I found a version of this very game in Python with the source code. So this is one time what I'm going to try to hack it, and I'm going to try to do it after the class. So if anyone wants it, is in the chat.
Thanks.
Can I ask an Arduino IDE related question?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not recognizing my board.
Which one?
The Arduino Uno.
You are working in OS X or Windows?
Windows.
Okay. Have you go to the device manager and check if you have the COM connection?
Yeah, it's also grayed out, so it doesn't detect it when I plug it in.
So it doesn't detect the COM port, no? Okay, can you show on the screen your Arduino? I suppose it's a Chinese copy, no? It's an Lego, probably?
Sorry?
What Arduino you have? Like, it's original, it's not original?
No, it's original.
It's original. I think some of the academy has a problem when installing the new Arduino. Which version of Arduino? We have 1.812. It's not the last one, no? Okay. Now, if it does, like the point to see if it's showing the port is go to device manager. Is the best way. If it shows in the device manager, it will show up in.
That's also not.
Okay. Maybe. Are you sure that it's original Arduino?
Yes.
Can you show it on the screen? That's, yeah. And the back? Oh, it's difficult to see really. Can you read the serial number that is stays in the FTDI chip?
In the what? Sorry?
In the FTDI chip. Okay, we'll share my screen.
Super blind. I can, Oh, the ATMEG?
Here.
A328P.
Okay. Here, this is usually the FTDI chip, the one that is next to the USB. It depends on the version of the Arduino. It might look like this or like this.
I can't see. Okay. Yeah, it's the A328.
28238?
Yeah. 328.
Okay, probably you will need the drivers. Have you tried to reinstall the drivers from the FTDI chip?
Have I tried to what?
Reinstall the drivers.
No.
Okay, try reinstall the drivers.
Okay.
You will probably need to install the 2230, that is this one. Windows 2XX drivers, usually is the one that uses Arduino, most of the Arduino boards, and just install the latest version of it. Okay. So basically, you have a problem that is not requesting not your Arduino but your FTDI chip. So either you are missing the drivers or you have a version that doesn't work with your driver. Happens a lot with the Chinese clones that they don't use the FT232. They use a CH34 driver. that is another like cheaper FTDI chip, and with that one you need to install like with a self-install package as an executable. Usually happens with the cheaper versions of FTDI chips. So even if you don't not have the version, I recommend to install this one because a lot of devices, like I found out, like some IoT devices for home, they use this driver too.
I'll try that. Thank you.
Okay. More? Or you just want to take a beer here in the chat?
I'm looking to know the difference between open frameworks and processing instead of the language. Like when to use one of them instead of the other.
Oscar, is that your answer?
No, well, I mean, Open Frameworks is much more advanced than processing in general. So whenever you want to start trying to do like, don't take me wrong, but serious stuff, like not small things, let's say, you want to go for Open Frameworks. For instance, imagine that you want to use a Kinect and record point clouds in real time at 60 frames per second, and then store that into point cloud objects, for example, in your file system, and then be able to load those point clouds and make a movie out of that. That you will use Open Frameworks, for example. If you use processing, the overhead that Java puts into that is too much with respect to that of C++. So, and C++, for example, will be talking directly with all the other applications that in your system. For example, if you're talking with video, you can start doing FFmpeg stuff and calling FFmpeg pipelines from Open Frameworks. And if you wanted to do that, you are relying on someone that programmed a good binding in Java to load FFmpeg, for example. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So the advantage of having Open Framework or using Open Frameworks is first the speed, also availability of, let's say, system-wide applications or scripts already written in C++, plus, let's say, the community, I think, it's much more advanced as well in terms of documentation, in terms of what they do. It's really powerful.
Okay. And are you using it?
Am I using? I'm not using it at the moment. I don't have any projects at the moment with Open Frameworks, but I've used it a lot.
Okay. And then you have to compile the code each time you wrote something. Okay.
Yeah. You can make a. Well, I use Sublime as a text editor, but if whatever editor you use, you can, for example, make a custom make file for the operating system that you use, and then make it executable like that, and it will work super fast. And after you make the compiling,
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, as a reference, I can send you a couple of things that I've done in the past. Well, if you go to Git. So if you go to that folder mtw, and then you go into source. There you have an Open Frameworks application that you can have a look. It's very badly written because it's not like meant for scalability. It's just for like an application. But basically, what it does is it talks with an Arduino Mega that sends data via serial. And when the Arduino Mega, well, whenever that button, for example, is pressed, it loads different musics or like tracks and plays them over speakers or something like that, and talks to a Raspberry Pi to manage a projection.
Okay, cool.
Okay, let's have this be then.
More than words is so romantic, Oscar.
I know.
Oscar, do you have a video of that thing running?
I don't know. I have a lot of pictures though, but what is this? Oh my God.
Actually, Oscar, I think Rebecca has it in her webpage.
Yeah, yes, he does. But yes, he has more picture than I do, I think. Let me find her. Installation. Yes, he has like a small application that I made for her. She wanted to do like in tone.
Clubs. Clubs.
Well, I put this, and then you can, if you want to browse to Rebecca's website or to Fabra, everything is in there. I don't have a video. It's only still. We did it with kids and like in a couple of center civics and this type of things, and in a museum.
And so you build a sampler, basically, and you run music files.
Yeah, well, it's like a giant. The idea is that it's like a giant MPC.
Yeah.
It's like, but with, of course, not the same features. But the idea is that you play like things in there, and then there's a whole storyline and whatever in the back. But I mean, technical, it's like conceptually it's a little bit weird, but in the technical part is just an Arduino with like big buttons that send that to an application running in a small computer, and that computer is talking to a Raspberry Pi to manage a projection.
Cool. And what if we want to do similar things, but with Python instead of Java or C++?
Interface stuff, for example, you mean?
Yeah, like similar things that we can do with Open Frameworks, but written in Python instead.
I don't know any creative framework in Python myself. I mean, there's processing.py, but I don't think it's very well maintained at the moment.
No, I think it's dead.
And I don't know, to be honest. I don't know any I came across one, but is
In Python, there is something that I think it's maintained yet. I made a game jam about it. That is ren.py, that is for visual novels. I don't know if you're interested, but maybe it suits you.
How is it called?
Ren.py.
Okay.
well, of course, you have also Sonic Pi and all these things.
To make generative music. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've never used it. I just send it to you as a probable. This is a reference if you want to try. It's called Open RNDR, and this uses Kotlin, which is another program, and I think it uses also Java in the back. Yeah, exactly. It uses a Java virtual machine, and then basically you write in Kotlin.
So basically, you can just like, if you open a Kotlin and you paste a Java program in some EDA, they can translate it into Kotlin. Like you don't need to rewrite everything.
Then this framework works with that. I've never tried it, but seems also like very widely used for, especially for visual art and stuff. But Python, no, I'm sorry. I know some UI stuff with Python, but it's more like for dashboarding and these type of things. Like for like small web apps, that we will see this in the code club as well. But if you want an introduction, you can look at Bokeh. Or Dash, and both are like Python UI frameworks, but mainly for developing web applications and dashboarding things for visualizing data and this type of thing. But it's not like creative coding at all.
But then, because it's for web, at the end, it is compiling JavaScript. Like the shards we see in a browser are JavaScript.
Yeah, that's like so they use, for example, web UI components directly, but what you, for example, there's like for each of them, for Bokeh, for example, there's Bokeh.py and Bokeh.js, and the same for Dash, and the same for Plotly, and this. So they have like separated, but I think they all tend to go either to D3 or have their own native components, but they're like very simple, let's say.
Okay. So then I don't really get the point to use Python to, at the end, have JavaScript running. Like, why not using JavaScript directly and just structure the data so you can get them with JavaScript and use them directly in the browser?
It depends on your application. Like, if, for example, you want to make a visual data visualization application on all your, let's say, data modeling and stuff is in Python, then you might want to just make a small front end in Python as well. But that pulls things from Java only if like a library, for example. But still, you don't have to convert the data to another framework. For instance, imagine that you are running, you're reading sensors and putting them into a database, and that database has, and then you pull that database using Python, and you run a machine learning model on all the data. All that pipeline is based on Python. Then you might want to display the results from that model into a small front-end application. You might just send that to the using Python, and maybe use a library like Bokeh or something that uses JavaScript in the back. for that.
But then you can also model your data to be compatible with all the things you do. Like if you
I mean, it
have like
depends.
a JSON file in the middle, you can use JavaScript on one side and Python on the other.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you can do so. The thing is, now Python has become like such a popular thing that everyone tries to do everything, like everything applies in Python as well, but I don't know. We will see some things, but it's not like the best solution always, of course.
Yeah. Is it good to do everything with the same tool? Or is it better to get specific tasks for specific tools? It's a choice.
I mean, then this thing goes to a topic like, for example, like how to program or make a whole system or the whole architecture of a system. And then it becomes a little bit tricky because you can end up in bottlenecks that one framework doesn't allow you to do. So you want to probably generalize as much as possible. But I don't know. It's always like there's always going to be a trade-off, of course.
Yeah, sure. And for now, if you have to build a complete application in Python, what tools would you use to do the backend and frontend?
For building an front-end application in Python?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. But if I had to, I will just go for Flask. But it's gonna not gonna be a great application, but I will just try to go for Flask.
Yeah.
If I had to learn something, instead of learning how to do it in Python, I would try to learn Ruby and maybe make it on Rails.
Ruby, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting choice.
I don't know. It's I don't know much of Ruby, but it's quite a trending thing for web applications at the moment, especially with Ruby on Rails and this thing. So, but we're talking about web applications, not about front-end only.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but Ruby was trending like 5 years ago. Not that much anymore, I think.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I will learn it. It doesn't mean that it's the right choice. I would do myself.
And what kind of stack do you use with Smart Citizen? Like,
sorry?
What languages do you use for Smart Citizen?
Well, but the thing is
the
Smart Citizen.
Yeah.
The backend is, I think it's all written. Well, I'm not sure. I think most of it is probably written in Ruby, but I'm not sure. I think because it's Victor Smari, the Icelandic guy, is a Ruby developer.
Okay.
And then I think there's also JavaScript stuff, but I'm not sure. Actually, we could check. So if you want to check, that's the API. And yeah, it's mostly written in Ruby. looking for. In other.
Is MicroPython already a thing, or just provision for the future? Like, is Python already used for programming all microcontrollers, or it's always in C or C?
No, because for MicroPython you need quite a big flash storage, because you have to put the interpreter inside. MicroPython is a small like version of the Python interpreter, and then you can load some things, but it's not supported for all the chips. So you have mainly very big chips that have enough flash so that you can put inside like a ESP32, ESP the ESP12, the ESP8266, and etc. So it's like it's not a thing yet, but little by little it will. I mean, it depends on what. Like for example, if you want to program like a slave application or a slave microcontroller, like an ATtiny that is just gonna open or close a relay, you don't need MicroPython for that. But if you want to program something like I don't know, like ESP32 with the simplicity of Python while writing and controlling like a small system, let's say, you can do so, but you need like a big flash. So,
okay.
And I was just checking the Smart Citizen thing, and yeah, it's all built on almost all of it in Ruby. All the API.
Yeah. Okay.
By IPTTT. I think Xavi talked about it before.
A what?
IPTTT.
MQTT?
No. Let me write in the chat.
Yeah. It's I think it's application they like. It's called If This Then That. That you can make really like
how it works. I mean, if you never try it.
It's just about connecting services together.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, but I think if this and that is like a framework of like a web service that, for example, you make a small application that connects to your Facebook account or your Twitter account or something like that, and then, for example, every time that you do something, then a tweet goes into your Twitter stream or things like that. So it's like a web service that manages all these things. But I'm not a big fan of these things. Maybe Edu, Xavi have worked more with these things in the past, but I haven't.
I have used it, but it's kind of limited. I think you can only plug multiple services together. Like I use like when I post a picture on Instagram, I also receive it by email, so I have the full quality picture in my mailbox. And you can do things like this and automating the web for you. But I don't think you can go very precisely on what task you want to achieve.
Yeah.
But it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, so maybe it's something new now.
Okay. Oh, I think we don't have more questions. I think we can finish the meeting, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Have a nice weekend.
Have a
The
nice
sun is
weekend.
back.
Yeah, finally.
Enjoy it.
See ya.
See you, bye.